All right. Recording in progress. Good evening, everybody. My name is Chris. It is Sunday night, 7 p.m. Central Time, and it's time for another edition of Reclaim Your Health. As we talked about last week, we're going to be talking about doTERRA's Reclaim Your Health plan or program that they have, and it's really centered around their wellness pyramid here. Today, we're going to be talking about the bottom of the pyramid, the nutrition and digestion section, the base of that pyramid. And there is a reason that is the base. That in doing a lot of research here, nutrition is one of the things that's linked to a huge amount of other problems in your body. We are what we eat, and what we eat is our fuel. So if we're not taking in the right stuff, if we're not processing that right stuff in our gut and our digestive system, then the rest of our body isn't working the way that it should. So definitely a good reason why that is at the base of the pyramid. That's the sturdy base. And remember, with this whole wellness pyramid, as we go through it from week to week, we want to avoid the unwellness pyramid. And that is on the left-hand side, you can see that it's stacked and it looks stable. We spend more time on those lifestyle things, that nutrition, the daily movement, getting the right amount of rest, and managing our stress. We spend more time on that than we spend less time at the top with the proactive medical care and the informed health self-care, taking care of ourselves. So we do those daily things more often than we spend less time, with serious intervention. If we don't do that, if we spend less time over on the right and our base shrinks, our top gets top heavy because we're going to have to spend a lot more time in the unwellness pyramid. So stay away from the unwellness pyramid and check out the wellness pyramid. So I got a little bit ahead of myself. I skipped over my introductory slide. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Chris. Julie Scott and I are a thing. I'm her boyfriend. So that's who I am. You've probably seen me as Awesome Chris if you've ever texted with her, because I messed with her autocorrects. But I'm a pretty average guy. I work a 9-to-5 job that has a lot of stress. I don't always eat right. And I'm trying to get a little bit more healthy. So I'm working this wellness pyramid, and I'm trying to encourage others to take a look at it and join me. If you're open to the idea of better health, I saw a thing on Facebook that said, why wait to New Year's to start your New Year's resolution? And that's why I'm doing this now. I also have some personal motivations. I don't have a lot of faith left in the healthcare system in dealing with it. It seems to be backwards. It seems to be treat the diseases, treat the problems reactively. And I really want to get more proactive with my healthcare. I want to take care of myself, and I want to go to doctors and medical professionals as consultants to say, what do I need to do proactively to stay away from you guys when the serious stuff happens? And I also personally think that if we treat ourselves a little bit better, we're going to treat everybody else a little bit nicer. And who couldn't use that in today's world? So that's why I'm doing this. Why am I doing it with doTERRA? I've peeked behind the curtains, and I've looked underneath the rugs, and I haven't found any bad skeletons or anything like that. I think they are truly trying to make the world a better place. I think that they've got the highest quality products that are actually working. I've had personal experiences with them that have been nothing but good. I could spend an hour talking about how they source their products, how they test it internally and externally, how they are concerned about purity, and how they truly are trying to make a difference for the good in this world. But that's not what tonight's about. So that's me. That's why I'm here. That's why I'm doing this. I'll be here for the next few weeks talking about this Reclaim Your Health wellness pyramid that I kind of jumped ahead a little bit with. And tonight we're doing digestion and nutrition. So the base of that wellness pyramid. So I gave you a little preview last week, and I apologize if it was a little bit scary and a little bit eye-opening, but it was to me. And maybe the idea was to shock people a little bit when I talk about when I talk about things like the amount of nutrients that are actually in our food today is significantly declined from years and years ago. The Food and Drug Administration did a study in early 2000s, I believe, that looked at the nutrient content of foods from the 60s to the early 2000s. So over the course of about 4 years, and found that more than half of them had a significant decline in the nutrient density over that period, anywhere from 6 to like 40% nutrient decline, just in that 40-year period. There's an example out there that you can look up that talks about wild apples. Wild apples have about 90 to 100 times more phytonutrients than the apples you find in the grocery store, and about 10 times more vitamin A. So when you get down to grocery store food, all of that food, or the vast majority of, I would say, I won't do an all-encompassing all of that food, but the vast majority of it has been modified, has been agriculturally bred, has been something to be profitable. Maybe it's been, modified to taste better so you can sell more, but nobody's out there saying, I'm trying to make a more nutritious apple. They're really, the larger companies are saying, how do we make this food more profitable? And when you look at it and the diet that you eat all day long, all week long, all month long, it's filled with a lot of highly processed foods. It's filled with a lot of things that are bred to be high yield, larger apples, heavier bananas, things like that, because we don't buy food by the nutrient content, we buy it by the pound. And that's kind of a scary thought, that it's the secondary thing that people are thinking about is how nutritious is this. We really, as human beings, evolved in a world where we were eating not only wild food, but a diverse amount of wild food. And it would be very difficult to replicate that same diet today with the amount of processed foods that are out there, with the amount of variety of foods that are available. I'm not saying you can't do it. Not a lot of us grow our own gardens with heirloom varieties or wild varieties of foods, or hunt our own food for protein sources and things like that. So it's difficult to get the nutritional content that we need from a commercial diet. I saw a statistic and I was shocked by it, and I looked it up, and you can find it yourself. I'm not going to point you to the source. Go do the search engine of your own trustworthiness, but it was a study that says 75% of the calories we get as humans throughout the world come from 12 plant sources and 5 meat sources, 5 animal sources. And it was pretty shocking when you looked at it, because it seemed like that can't be true. But as soon as I looked it up, it was things like sugarcane, wheat. I forget a couple of the others. Rice were in there, but these were things that I was like, well, okay, yeah, that could be true. And it was pretty shocking, because there are over 300,000 varieties of plants, edible plants alone, that we could be eating. And you get this huge concentration that are locked up in just 12 of these plants. So definitely we're not getting a varied diet. Definitely we're not getting the same foods that our bodies were developed on. So there's going to be some nutrition issues. The Food and Drug Administration, or the FDA, the United States has introduced recommended daily allowances, and which is a bit of a misnomer, because it's not really an allowance. It's based on it's backwards, kind of like the healthcare system. It's based on the minimum amount of these nutrients and that you need to prevent a negative response. So, for example, the recommended daily allowance of protein is 0.8 grams per kilogram of body weight. So if you weigh 100 kilograms, you would need 80 grams of protein a day, I think. Double check my math on that. But the idea there is that standard is based on the nitrogen balance in the body. And that is the minimum amount you need to keep that nitrogen balance in a healthy level. And once it starts to go out of the healthy level, that's the minimum amount. So that says nothing about increasing or maintaining body mass. It's to prevent a negative response. And if you're right on the edge of preventing a negative response, that's not necessarily where you want to set your target. You really want to be in a robust section. And then you want to take a look at your own conditions and say, okay, am I trying to increase body mass or muscle mass or things like that? So those are a little bit of a misnomer, and they're on every food package we have, the little labels back here that talk about, oh, you're getting 16% of your fiber from this, or you're getting 23% of your needed protein. It may not necessarily be true. So a lot of misinformation out there, a lot of misinterpreted information out there. We're not getting the same foods that the body was developed on, and we're just not getting that diverse group of foods that we once had. So a lot of issues there with nutrition. Same thing when it comes to digestion. We eat a lot of bad food. If you're sitting here and you're watching this and saying, I don't ever eat bad food, or I do everything to take care of my body and my gut and my digestion, good for you. You're the exception. But we're learning more and more about the body's natural biome and our gut bacteria and our digestive system in general. And what we're learning is that it plays a huge role in the health of our whole body, as well as our mental condition, our mental happiness. So our gut health, and then the biome throughout the rest of our body and the rest of our mucous membranes and things like that. Those are all going to be involved. I'm lumping kind of the probiome into the digestion, but not all of the biomes in your body really are affected with digestion. So, for example, your nose, there's bacteria that live in your nose, healthy bacteria that live in your nose that are supposed to be there. Don't freak out. They're very natural, but those aren't necessarily going to help you with digestion. But you do have a huge amount of bacteria that lives in your gut that helps with digestion. And doTERRA has introduced a product this year called PB Restore, which actually promotes the healthy biome throughout the body, not just the gut. They've also added or updated their formula of PB Assist Junior into something called PB Assist Plus, which is not only just for juniors, but for everybody. And they've also reformulated it to include some more diversity. And it's really the one that's aimed at the gut biome. So a couple of products there that we'll talk about here in a second. So nutrition, digestion, we need to get nutrients from supplemental sources. We're not getting it from our grocery stores, and we're not getting it from even the nice restaurants like Chipotle and the healthy restaurants that are all natural and things like that. There's still not enough. So we have to get some sort of a supplement. And then once we get that good fuel into our bodies, we have to allow our bodies to utilize it. And that's where the digestion comes in. We've got to break down those macronutrients, those larger nutrients that we have, like proteins and complex carbohydrates. We've got to break those down into building blocks that our body can use. So that's the importance of digestion. So what happens when we're not getting those nutrients into our body, either from a failure of getting the right foods and things in, or a failure of our digestive system to distribute it out? Bad things. Anything else going wrong in your body can get worse. There's bone and cardiovascular and metabolic health, all kinds of different health concerns based on that nutrition deficiency. If that's happening, your body is basically just not getting what you need. Think about a car. If it doesn't get the fuel for whatever reason, you're not putting it in, or the fuel injectors or the carburetor is not working and it's not getting to the engine, nothing else in the car is going to work well. Your battery is eventually going to drain, the engine's going to stop running, the brakes won't work, power steering, all that kind of stuff is going to stop working. Same thing in the human body. If you're not putting it into your system and you're not able to digest it and distribute it out into usable pieces, you're going to have problems. Okay. Fortunately, there's help. So the first thing I'm going to talk about is some nutritional supplementation that doTERRA offers. A lot of times doTERRA is thought of as the essential oil company, and that's kind of true. They have essential oils, but I tend to think of them as a wellness company. And one of the great things that they do is they provide nutritional supplementation. This is for people who aren't getting everything that they need in their diet, which is probably most of Americans and most people in developed countries. I'm going to say there's some kind of deficiency typically with a large majority of the population. Not everybody. There are probably a lot of people who are taking really great care of themselves and going to great lengths to do it. But I'm saying average guy Chris and people like him are probably a little bit short on other things that they need as far as their vitamins and minerals, their micronutrients, their macronutrients like carbohydrates and stuff like that. And so doTERRA has a couple of options. Number one is a supplemental pack that they call Lifelong Vitality. This is a 3-pack that they sell. And it contains a bottle of Microplex VMZ, which is the name, which is really vitamins and minerals. It's your vitamins A, B, C, all your thiamine and niacin and things like that, as well as things like iron and manganese and all that kind of stuff. The XE omega basically is your omega-3 fatty acids. These you probably heard about for a long time. The fatty acids are building blocks in the body. They are instrumental in building up fascia. They're great for your eyes. They're great for your skin. All kinds of benefits from the omega-3 fatty acids. These are good fatty acids. And you're probably not getting it unless you're eating massive amounts of the right kinds of fish or the right kinds of plants. So this is a nice way to supplement that. Also in that 3-pack is something called Alpha CRS. Really, it's antioxidants and it's aimed at cellular health. Even from years and years ago, we had talked about free radicals in the body that would start to degrade the DNA strands and things like that. Well, really, it's free radicals and it's oxidation that's happening inside your body, And what this Alpha CRS has is a lot of antioxidants that will stop those kinds of things and neutralize those free radicals to help maintain your cellular health. So that one is a 3-pack, and it comes in a box. I don't have a box here, but it comes in bottles, and I keep it in my desk drawer here. One thing I will say about that, I don't know if it's a compliment or a curse, but you get 3 bottles of this, and of this, the recommended dosage is 4 pills a day. So just in that LLV, I'm taking 12 capsules, supplements a day. And I really, really dislike taking pills, capsules, anything like that. Number one, gets in my mouth, gag reflex, not a lot of fun. Number two, I don't like the idea that I'm not enough. So this is the mental block. It's like I have to add something to my body. So mentally, I don't like it, and physically, I don't like it. But even though I get this pack every month that says you have to take 12 of these a day, I still do it, and I do it every day because I'm much better without it than I am. Wait, I'm much better with it than I am without it. See, I screwed up the main point there. But the idea is, I don't like taking pills, and this is a lot of pills, but the benefits I get from them are much bigger than my dislike for taking pills. So that's my thoughts on the lifelong vitality. If you're a smoothie person, have I got something for you? doTERRA offers both greens supplements, fiber supplements, and protein supplements. All three of those in powder form that are awesome to mix into smoothies. I've even had a smoothie or two in my life. I'm not afraid to admit that. But these are great if you're not eating a balanced protein diet, or if you're not getting enough greens into your system, or you want to trade out and say, I eat salads every day, but I don't have time to put a good salad together all the time. Maybe I want to switch to, some of that to greens, or move some of my protein from the protein source I'm normally eating to a protein powder. So these are great options for you. The protein is vanilla and chocolate, or they have a vegan option. The vegan option is sourced from things like peas, flaxseed, tapioca, I believe, is one of them. But it's actually a vegan sourced protein. And then the chocolate and the vanilla are whey proteins. So it's a nice complete protein that the body accepts very readily. So a few different options for proteins. The greens, they say they have a mixed berry flavor. I asked my girlfriend, Julie, is that true? And she kind of said, that's what the literature says. So I've never had it with, just mixed greens. And okay, I'm hearing from down the hall that yes, it does taste like mixed berry flavor. Okay. So I've never had it plain. I've thrown it in with other berries and things like that, but it's a nice way to add a couple of servings of fruits and vegetables into your diet if you're not getting enough, if you're not eating enough salads or fajitas like I don't. And then same thing with the fiber. Fiber is really important for the body for a couple of reasons. Number one, it is awesome for digestion. And number two, it also helps clear out a lot of the bad stuff that are bad for heart disease. So oatmeal was a big thing for a long time because it contained a lot of fiber, and it helped clear out some of the bad cholesterol. It helped lower bad cholesterol numbers in a lot of different stories, and it was the fiber in the oatmeal that was doing that. So fiber is great for digestion, and it's also great for heart health. And this is an easy way of adding it to your diet. If you're having a smoothie, or if you just want to mix it up with water, this one's actually got an apple lemon flavor. I've tried it. I can say it does taste like an apple lemon kind of drink. It's not the worst thing in the world. And you might actually like it. You might hate it. I can tell you, if you don't like it, mix it with apple juice and you won't even tell it's there. That's a trick for that one. But all three of those are nice ways to go ahead and add some additional supplementation into your body, whether you need the protein, the fiber, or the greens. Okay. So the other thing that I want to talk about is the digestive health, and that's what's going on in your tummy. A lot of people have some pretty serious issues, but I fortunately don't have those bad of an issues. Every once in a while, I have a little acid reflux, but fortunately, I think my tummy's in pretty good health. I don't know that that's necessarily true. I've never really done anything to help it. So I kind of think that, like me, The rest of me, it could probably use a little bit of assistance, even though it's not first thing on my mind, front and center in my health concerns. So there's a lot of things that doTERRA has for this. One of them I don't have up here is actually they have a peppermint gel cap. And peppermint is great for not only your stomach, but also into your intestines. And it's really got an ability to ease and soothe any discomfort down there. And it's the peppermint gel caps that they have are actually something called an enteric gel cap, which will not dissolve in it's time released. It won't dissolve or it won't release in the stomach. It'll actually get into the intestines and the gut before it's released. So it's not released in the stomach where it would act. It would actually act in the gut. So specifically designed delivery method for gut health. But they've also got a couple others here that I wanted to mention. Terrazyme is one that contains a bunch, I want to say 10 different enzymes that are found found naturally in the diets of people. One of the things about enzymes is enzymes help break down food. They help a ton of different processes in the body. They're more like chemical helpers or chemical assistance molecules. And one of the bad things about them is they can degrade with heat. So as we're processing or cooking our foods, there are benefits to that, but also there are downsides. And one of the downsides is it breaks up a lot of these enzymes. So when you're eating a diet that's not raw and natural and wild and varied, you don't get all of the enzymes that you might need. Especially when you think about the diet that you eat compared to the 100,000 years of human evolution that has sort of built and formed your body. So this Terrazyme has a lot of those extra enzymes that your body needs. So what this does is it frees up your body from trying to produce all of those enzymes. It can produce as much as it can, and then the rest of the supplement takes over. And it also just aids in that digestion of those macronutrients, your fats, your proteins, your complex carbohydrates. So this is one that if you're having digestion issues, it can take care of a lot of problems simply by adding those enzymes in that your body needs. Another one for the digestion is Digest Zen. And I've got the wrong bullet points. So don't look at the detoxification blend or the helps cleanse liver. Those are not for the Digest Zen. The Digest Zen is specifically for digestion. And it's got a blend of essential oil nutrients in it that help aid in the digestion. So there's a few different ways you can get that one. And it's really to soothe upset stomachs. It's to help the digestive system go through and just make everything smoother and everything work better by providing it with the nutrients that it needs. It's got some things like ginger and peppermint and coriander, all that stuff that you've heard, traditionally are good for digestion. That's in there. A couple of different forms. It's in a roller, so you could actually apply it topically over your gut in a roller ball. You have the oil that you could apply topically also. Here I'm showing a digestive tab on the right, and then a soft gel on the left. The soft gel is like a pill you take internally, but the digestive tab is a little bit interesting because it's got calcium carbonate in it. Not only will it help with that digestive help, but it'll also help neutralize any acid, stomach acid that you have if you've got heartburn or you've got acid reflux or something going on. So a couple of different forms there that are real lifesavers. I've used it a couple of times for upset tummy and stomach acid, and it really works. I was one of those guys that ate a lot of Tums and Rolaids and whatever generic antacid was out there, and I haven't had one in probably a couple of years now. sticking with just peppermint beadlets and then the Digest Zen are the two things that I would turn to now for upset stomach and stomach issues. So the last thing I'm going to talk about with digestive health is your natural biome, your gut biome, the microbiotics that live in your stomach. As I had mentioned earlier, this is a new product out from doTERRA, the PB Restore and the PB Assist. It's really an upgrade to previous products, which is called PB Assist and PB Assist Junior. But really, they're all aimed at a healthy biome. And I could probably spend a whole hour and a half on just talking about these alone. But trying to bring it back to the digestive health. When you think about your gut biome, the doTERRA and a lot of different sources sort of talk about it like a garden in your yard. And there's some things that you want to keep a healthy garden. You want a variety of different plants in there. You want it to be evenly full, but not overcrowded, and not like open spots where there's a lack of any kind of plants. And you want healthy, strong plants in there, and you want the right kinds of plants. You don't want weeds. You want the flowers and the vegetables and things like that. And those are all kind of things that are really useful and really hallmarks of the healthy gut biome. Not only having the right amount, which is not too much and not too little, but having the right amount of stomach bacteria in there, but also having a variety of them. And then having the right kinds, having the good stomach bacteria so that the bad stomach bacteria can't get a hold of. So this PB Restore formula has actually got prebiotics, postbiotics, probiotics, and then something called bacteriophages. Now, the prebiotics, probiotics, and postbiotics, those are all related. Those are the bacteria thingies. The prebiotic is kind of like the food for the bacteria. The probiotic is like the bacteria itself. And then the postbiotic is some of the beneficial stuff that would come out of these bacteria. So you've got that whole food chain kind of in there for your gut biome that says the pre, the actual, and the post. So it can actually, it's already in the environment that it normally would be in by the time it gets into your gut. And it's got some food to snack on with the prebiotics, and then it's got some of the postbiotics, so it knows what to do and all that kind of stuff. So this really actually helps that garden that is your gut biome grow healthily. It's also got something called bacteriophages, and bacteriophages are different than the pre and postbiotics. Those are actually healthy viruses that live in our body that kill bad bacteria. Now, bacteriophages are pretty interesting because they're very specific to the types of bacteria that they will attach and latch onto. And to explain why that is takes upper level training in organic and biological chemistry and all kinds of things like that. But basically, you have these bacteriophages that aren't just indiscriminately killing, your gut bacteria. They're killing the bad bacteria. So there's specific types there are specific types incorporated in here that are designed to kill off the bad bacteria and not mess with the good bacteria to keep your stomach healthy. Okay. So the difference between the PB Restore and the PB Assist is two things. Number one, the PB Restore is really for your whole body. I was kind of shocked to learn that not only do you have like gut bacteria, but you also have bacteria in other mucous membranes like your nose and your eyes and your ears and in your mouth, obviously, and things like that. I was like, oh yeah, I guess they're in your skin. They're on your skin too, but that's very, very normal and very, very healthy. So the PB Restore is really aimed at all of those different biomes. It's got 30 different strains. Excuse me. It's got 30 different strains of the biotics in it, as well as a number of the different bacteriophages going after the bad the bad microbes in your body. So the PB Restore is for your whole body. The PB Assist Plus is like a little packet of powder. They call it a sachet. I call it a packet. You might get away calling it a pixie stick, where you kind of rip off the top and then down a little sweet treat in the middle. And it's got 7 different kinds of pre and probiotics, and that one's specifically for gut health. Now, you don't have to take both of these. The PB Restore is the one that's for the full body. The PB Assist Plus is going to help additionally for the gut itself. You can take it occasionally. You can work with the two and see what works. But really, they're both great products to help aid in that digestive health that you have. I will say that the PB Assist stick, I went to a convention, and when they introduced it, they're like, "Oh, this stuff tastes great. It's like strawberry, it's like melon, it's sweet. You're gonna love it." Me being the skeptical guy, I was skeptical, but damn it, they were right. They're delicious. I don't know any other way to say it. Yeah, it's like a nice little treat at the end of the day. It's strawberry melon. It's sweet. It's kind of like being a kid eating a pixie stick again. So it's a nice way to get this kind of delivered to your gut and help those biomes down there, those bacteria down there, do their job and keep you healthy. Okay. So to learn more, before I go through this one slide, I'm actually going to switch over to the internet, and I'm going to go to the doTERRA website. I've talked about a few things today, and just brush the top of the surface. All of these, any one of these products, I could probably go into a very deep dive for about an hour, talking about everything that's going on, the research behind it, what came out of it, how it actually works, precautions, exact sourcing, things like that. Can't do that in a small video trying to cover this much information. Even though it's one chunk of that wellness pyramid, there's a ton here. My recommendation for you is, if you want information on the background on any of these, you can go straight to doTERRA's website. And you don't even have to log in, but they offer a ton of information for free. So that lifelong vitality that I first started talking about, I can search that and go to lifelong vitality. And I don't even have to spell it right, but it's going to bring up a bunch of different options. And if I just click on this one, the Lifelong Vitality Pack, it's going to take me to the sales page, where you'll hear sort of an overall description and those kinds of things. It'll tell you what it is, some things that go along with it, like the Terrazyme or the PB Assist. But down at the bottom, if you scroll all the way down, get a nice little recommendation there. But if you scroll all the way down past the recommended products, there we go. Okay. Useful resources. All right. So they have useful resources on all of these, and they have a brochure that you can take a look at it. And this is a little bit more into the details of what it is, how it was developed. It talks about what it's specifically trying to do, and it talks about the sourcing and things like that. All of these have vegan options and things like that. But if I go back even one more, I want to show you something else that I look at a lot, and it's sort of the no nonsense thing. It's called the PIP, which is the product information page. Now, there's 3 bottles of supplements in there, so there's 3 different product information pages. And if I click on one of these, this is kind of the no nonsense, dry information that I'm looking for. So it's got a section on the product description. It's got a section on the concept of what they're trying to do. You can see a citation right there, Journal of the American Medical Association. And then it talks about what's in it. And then as you go down further, It talks about the benefits. It talks about directions for use, frequently asked questions. And then finally, you do get into the supplemental facts. And it will talk about the amounts of the micronutrients that you have. It'll talk about sort of the whole foods that they put in here and what they are, as far as kale, Brussels sprouts, spinach, cabbage, those kinds of things, giving you that greens nutrients. So it'll talk about the sources and everything like that. And then it'll even reference the key studies. So if you want to go ahead and take a look at where this information is coming from, if you want to find out sort of the cold hard facts, which I really like, these product information pages are great, and they're on every product that doTERRA has. So that's really where I'm going to recommend that you go first to take a look at these things. Also on doTERRA, you can find a ton of information on all of their products. A lot of times they do classes. So if I hover over this Discover button and discover solutions, I can discover products. I can go in by a body system. And I think down at the bottom of everything, I can look at this product education. And here I can find education on the MetaPower courses, the different products. I could go in and take a look at information on like that probiotic, the PB Assist. So there's the probiotic course, and it is free. So if you want to get deeper into that, you could take a look at that and get into that, and for free, find out some deep information on the probiotics. Okay. But I will also tell you, I will be talking about this again in the future. I will be back here again next week at 7 p.m. Central Time. We are going to talk about exercise and movement, the second rung on the wellness pyramid. You can also take a look at doTERRA's page for anything that I've talked about this evening, or you can look ahead. And another thing I want you to take a look at, if you're open to it, is going to an event sponsored by doTERRA. And they just had their convention last month. So this month they're doing their Reclaim Your Health tour. It used to be the post-convention tour, but now it's really the Reclaim Your Health tour. doTERRA is really trying to help the world heal and help the world to be a better place by offering these wellness products. And if you go to their vanity link at tour.doterra.com, you can find out all of the different places that this tour is going on. Like here in Illinois, there's 4 different cities on 4 different nights that it's happening. Different states are going to have different cities and different times that it's happening. And I think it's like $10 to go, and you get some free swag and you get some free products. So they're not really making any money off this. What they're really trying to do is let people have experiences hands-on with these things, and then let people talk to the other wellness advocates who are selling these products, and talk to some of the leaders who've actually helped develop them and who've really been involved with the creation process with them. So it's a huge opportunity. If you haven't had a chance to get up close and personal with a lot of these products, or you have something specific that you want to talk about, or if you want to go and complain and be like, hey, I saw this guy say this about this, what do you think? Go to one of those tour events. I promise you, you will not be disappointed. So until then, if you have questions or comments, I'd love to hear them in the comments section down here. And next week, we are going to be talking about the exercise and movement section of the wellness pyramid. So look forward to that one. All right. Thank you, everybody, and have a great night.